Hey friends, it's Clear Law here, and today I've got a story for you that's going to make you laugh and maybe even make you question reality. So, imagine this. You're planning the perfect summer day. Bright sun, beach, cocktails, friends with umbrellas. But wait, something went wrong. The weather decided to let you down, and instead of sunny skies, you're hit with rain and cold winds. And what if I told you that you could actually sue the weather for that? Nope, not kidding. Today, I'm going to tell you about a guy who sued the Weather Service. And no, this isn't a joke. Let's dive into this absurd yet true story. Think about it for a second. How often have you been frustrated when the forecast promised sunny weather, but instead you're hit with rain? Or even better, what if you could actually take legal action for that? Well, you probably didn't think it was possible, but guess what? It is. In this video, we're talking about a guy who didn't just sue the Weather Service, but sued the sun itself. Yes, you heard that right. And while we all tend to blame the weather for ruining our plans, this guy took it to the next level. So, grab some popcorn and get ready for this hilarious yet strangely logical courtroom drama. So, this wild story took place in the United States, and honestly, I can hardly believe this actually went to court. But let's break it down. It all started like any typical tragedy. A young guy named John, let's call him that, was dreaming of a perfect summer day. He had been waiting all year for this moment. A hot day, a beach trip, a barbecue in the backyard, and of course, showing off his perfect tan. He kept an eye on the weather forecast every day. And finally, the day came. Pause for effect. The forecast promised ideal weather, 30 degrees and sunny skies, no rain. John thought, today's the day. So he put on his shorts, threw on a tank top, grabbed his best sunscreen, and headed out to the beach. And then, disaster struck. You smirk slightly. He arrived at the beach to find not the sunny, warm day he was promised, but cold, pouring rain and gusty winds. And let me tell you, it wasn't just a little drizzle. It was one of those downpours that makes you question your life choices. But wait, that's not all. Not only was his day ruined, but he also caught a cold. And to make matters worse, he missed a super important business meeting. Yeah, talk about a bad day. So, what did John do next? Well, naturally, he decided the world was being unfair. The weather had betrayed him, and he had the right to compensation. But hold on a second. It wasn't just any old compensation he was after. He wasn't just asking for some cash back for a ruined day at the beach. No. John filed a lawsuit against the Weather Service, claiming they didn't provide him with an accurate forecast. He demanded compensation for emotional distress and lost business opportunities. And as you can imagine, the courts were intrigued. You pause for effect. But that's not the crazy part. Oh no, John went even further. He sued the sun. Yep, you heard that right. The actual sun. He argued that the sun had failed to meet its obligations by not shining bright on his beach day. So now, not only was he suing the Weather Service, but he was also taking the great fiery ball in the sky to court. Let's be real here. We all know that the weather doesn't always go as planned. But John? Well, he was determined. He believed that if he could sue the Weather Service, then why not the sun itself? Of course, like any good legal drama, things didn't go exactly as John hoped. As it turns out, suing a celestial body for failing to shine is a bit tricky. Lawyers quickly pointed out that the Weather Service can't really be held responsible for every little change in the weather. And, well, the sun isn't exactly a legal entity, so suing it, well, it doesn't really work that way. But John wasn't backing down. He was convinced he had a case and that justice had to be served. Unfortunately for him, the court wasn't convinced. They ruled that weather services aren't liable for sudden weather changes. And in the end, John didn't get his compensation. But hey, at least he tried, right? So there you have it, folks. An absurd lawsuit where a guy tried to take on both the Weather Service and the sun. It's funny, it's outrageous, and it's a reminder that sometimes life doesn't go the way we expect. But hey, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, getting rained on when you were promised sunshine, just remember, maybe you can sue the weather next time. Who knows? Maybe you'll get a check for emotional distress too. Well, that's it for today. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you think about this crazy lawsuit. Have you ever had a weather disaster ruin your plans? I'd love to hear your stories. I'm Clear Law, and I'll see you in the next one.